How's it going, guys? Got another assassin pocket for you. Here's Zakk's Gospel, Brine Gospel in the neon green. I've actually never strung one of these heads before, so I'd figure I'd give you guys a little breakdown about the head and what we put in it. So he got an assassin pocket, and we decided to do it in some neon green, gray, and white, which I think is really cool, especially in the neon green head. So white 10 diamond hard mesh, heavy top white nylon, 2 gray straights, and the 6 diamond U. It is an assassin pocket, so that's what you'll get. Triangle tops in neon green and gray with gray sidewalls and a neon green throat, and yeah, that's everything. So I actually really like this head. I was on the fence about it. This era Brine kind of made some weird things, but there's some really good cool features about the head that I like. Like all the sidewall crap that this thing advertises is not, it's just trying to get you to buy heads, but the stick has a really serious throat on it, and this seems like the predecessor to the Encore, and I really like the Encore, especially, I think he's LSM, he's a long stick MIDI, so I think this is why we went with this pocket. If it's not, I'm sorry, but I actually found, I strung this up for a kid I play with, and he plays long stick MIDI, and he loved this pocket setup because with the long pull, he was able to drop the ball down in the throat here and open hand, like kind of Mark Matthews-y. He was able to open hand instead of switching hands with the long pull, and it really worked out for him. And then also the 6U gives you that really massive amount of hold, and then with a long pull, you never really are throwing sidearm unless you're kind of a weird player. You're really trying to go overhand. So when you go overhand, it gives you that really smooth release, but it's giving you a lot of hold. And so I think that's why we went with this with his pocket. But a few things I don't like. I'll just start with things I do like. Really hefty throat, and it feels like a pretty light head considering the patterning on the side, which it's definitely a cool looking head, very geometric. But it's got good flex. And that's the other thing that I was kind of shocked. The head's got good flex for how solid it feels. The few things I don't like, oh, and also the flare. It's got just a little bit of flare, which is nice. And I really love this kind of like squared off. I know they still do this, but the squared look here is really cool, and I really like the throat of this stick. And probably the feature I like the most is the bottom sidewall is super thick. And it's kind of like the Cobras are, and it kind of gives you that, I mean, it looks cool, but also it gives the bottom part of the head a lot of rigidity, but then the top, where the flare is a little bit more flexible. And I just think that's going to be better for ground balls and cut down on weight, and overall going to give you a nice open flex of the head, leaving this rigid and giving you that nice flex when you're shooting. So that's what I really like about it. Things I don't like. There's the spacing on the sidewalls is kind of funky. Like there's no hole for like 1.5 inches here where I normally put my nylon through, so I didn't like that because I couldn't make the top as tight as I would like, but it still worked. The top, the holes are funky again. These two should be probably another 1/4 inch out. They're not really evenly spaced, but I like the look up here, and I think it doesn't look bad. It's just to get a pocket where everything's absolutely perfect, that's what I would want. The sidewalls are actually pretty fine besides that. I like how the sidewalls are done. My only complaint is that this one right here, the gap between these two and this one is a little awkward. I kind of wish they just did 5 of those diamonds of this size instead of switching to those two. What was the last thing? Oh, the last thing is the throat screw is different than normal Brine heads. So I wasn't going to put a hole in my shaft just for one head because this shaft has the exact 3 holes for STX Brine and Warrior in it, so it should fit all heads. So this one actually has a different throat screw placement, which I think is kind of dumb, but I don't design these things. But I think it came out nice. Really nice pocket. I'm digging the head. Like if I can find one of these cheap, I think I might pick it up just because it's something in 10 years you'll never see, and I think that's really cool. I like heads like that. Like I have a Torque and one other Gate heads when they were doing crazy stuff where I just hold on to because one day they're just going to be like, what the hell is that thing? And it's pretty cool. But as for, I probably should talk more about the pocket. The pocket on this thing is awesome. It's got a really good channel in it, really nice for this head, and just I love the assassin. I mean, I know I have the king in mind, and I think I might be going to an assassin next for my backup stick, especially with throwing mesh in it for the rain. But it's still nice. And the other cool thing is with the thicker sidewalls, you can really see the mesh pull up onto the side of the lip here, and all that's going to do is keep the ball in more because it won't hit. It's going to ride on that a little bit nicer, so it's really going to secure the mesh down, letting it really stretch out and being a nice, deep, awesome pocket in it. So, oh, if you guys want to know the pattern, start on the second hole, and then that's a loop around in the second hole, how I always do. Like you do for the top, I always do it there. And then it's an interlock, which is going to bring the mesh really tight. Interlock, interlock for those three. And then one more interlock, which is going to create the channel for that wider head. And then we have a 2, a 1, a 1, a 1. And then this actually doesn't have an FI, and the problem is that that hole right there is too far. So I just went back in through the mesh, which doesn't lock it down as nice as I'd want to, but since the sidewalls are so thick, it was able to really secure it anyway. So then it just interlocks and goes through the head and the bottom. And it's pretty nice. It's really not moving as compared to other heads, and it's got a great channel on it. So, Zakk, hope you enjoy it. I'll get that shipped out to you. I think you're really going to like it. I think it's one of the better strings I've ever seen in a gospel. And that's everything, guys. Have a good night.